What's up YouTube, it's your boy Tay here and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be doing a special video. I'm going to start a new series. I'm going to be starting my realistic rebuild with a franchise that absolutely needs it. We are going to be rebuilding the New York Jets. Let's get right into it. So this team is very bad. We don't have a lot of guys with talent. We have CJ Mosley that is not playing the year because he opted out of COVID. We have a good player in Marcus Hayes that I think is going to be very good for the team, that I'm going to look to keep on this team. We have Avery Williamson that I think is going to be pretty well, but he's a little old, so we might have to think about moving him. We have Snacks Harrison, who is 31. He's not fitting our timeline. So basically, the goal for me on this rebuild is to revamp this entire team. So a lot of players are going to have to go over the years. We're going to have to start this right now. We're 0-6 in the season. This is not good at all for us. This is a terrible season. We have guys like Jamison Crowder that's having a really good year that we can probably ship off. I'm going to be doing a lot of trades, and they're going to be realistic trades, so you won't see me like trade, like for example, Jamison Crowder for a second-round pick. That's not realistic at all. So if I try to trade Jamison Crowder, I'm going to probably look for no best than like a 5th-round pick, maybe a 4th round if I get lucky. But mostly a realistic deal would be like a 5th-round pick for Jamison Crowder. So we're going to be trying to trade a lot of guys. We may even trade some of our young guys. I might look to put Quentin Williams on the trade market this season. This is the assets we get because this team needs a lot of work, especially on the offensive side of the ball. We have Sam Darnold, who I believe is not a really good quarterback, but it's a good quarterback that just hasn't been you know, coached well. We have Adam Gase, which we're going to do a lot of things with him, and we have Joe Flacco, and we have James Morgan. I am a Eagles fan, and this is one of the quarterbacks I kind of wanted to be our backup instead of getting Jalen Hurts. I thought James Morgan would have been a pretty good backup for Carson Wentz in the later rounds, and we have him. So Sam Darnold is going to be up for a contract very soon, and he just does not fit our timeline. We are not good yet. We're not even remotely good, and I don't think we can afford to pay Sam Darnold the money he wants and build this roster the way we needed to get to. So we're going to obviously in this rebuild look to trade Sam Darnold. I want to look for some good offers for him. Obviously, I want to try to get a 1st-round pick, but the first order of business as me as the new head of the New York Jets, I don't want this to be any longer. I don't want to cause any more drama for my players. We are going to fire Adam Gase. I just cannot have that on my roster. So we have fired Adam Gase, and we just basically hired someone for the year. We just hired basically a backup, an intern to be for a year until we get some candidates. I'm gonna hire someone in the off season. So I have 2 candidates that I want to look into to be the head coach of the New York Jets. We have one that I think is a pretty realistic deal, and I have one that's out of the box, and I have one that's just probably not likely. So our first guy that I'm looking for to be the head coach of the New York Jets is offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans, Arthur Smith. I think he's a very brilliant offensive mind. He's gone up in the ranks in the Tennessee Titans. He got the offensive coordinator job after Matt LaFleur went to the Packers, and he's been doing a great job there. So on this team, we're gonna have to, and in order for someone to come to this team, obviously we're gonna have to pay them big money. We cannot make mistakes be done in the past, so I need to get a great mind. So Arthur Smith is one guy. We're gonna offer him a lot of money to coach the New York Jets. Another guy is out of the box, and he's pretty young, and that is Joe Brady from the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, he just came from the LSU Tigers, winning them a national championship. Our offense was pretty insane with Joe Burrow. Now he is on the Carolina Panthers as the offensive coordinator, and they are really overachieving right now. And I think this is just a out-of-the-box thinking by us, again, a young offensive mind, like the Rams kind of did with Sean McVay. And I think Joe Brady's up and coming, and I think if we just get ahead of schedule and hire him now, he has a chance to build this offense. And another guy that we're looking to that's just totally just not realistic, but a shooting chance if we get the #1 overall pick, and that is Dabo Swinney from the Clemson. If we get the #1 overall pick, we're going to try to get Dabo Swinney, but I don't think it's going to be realistic. I think our main 2 targets are going to be Arthur Smith and Joe Brady. I just want to quickly show you guys just the sliders I'm doing here. So my XP sliders, I just did some research to see what's the best ones, and this is kind of how I'm going to do it. We're not going to do anything crazy, get our guys amazing really quickly, but I feel like this is good progression. I just looked it up and see what's the best ones. So that's it. And then the player one, we're going to be playing on all Madden. I don't know if I'm going to do playing full games or just doing moments, but we have some gameplay sliders. Nothing crazy. We just picked the sliders that people have been talking about. That's pretty good. So the trade deadline is coming pretty soon, and we have to start thinking about Willing and Dylan. So we obviously know that we're going to probably try to trade Sam Darnold this year. I don't want to wait until the off season when we have probably a top 3 pick. I feel like his value is going to go down even more. So I'm just going to look at some of the teams. Like the Lions, I don't think. The Packers, no. The Patriots would be a good fit to try to trade Darnold. Obviously, they do have Cam Newton, but we do not know if the Patriots would like to re-sign Cam after their season, because he's going to get a big deal. After having a really good season right now, I think he's going to get a big deal somewhere else, so I don't know if they want to keep him or not. So Sam Darnold could be a good place on the Patriots. Another area that we can look to trade Sam Darnold is the New Orleans Saints. They have Drew Brees, but this is probably going to be his last year. They also have Jameis, but we can have Sam Darnold could probably compete with Jameis there, and they have Taysom Hill. He's just a gadget guy. Probably the most realistic, and you've probably seen in a lot of rumors about it, is Sam Darnold maybe getting traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously Big Ben, this probably might be his last year, and you don't have anybody really good to replace him. So I think Pittsburgh might be the #1 landing spot we might trade him for. Try to see if we get like a 1st round pick. If not, we can try to go for a 2nd round. But I think this is probably the most realistic area for him to go to. Obviously, there are teams like the Bears that just don't have anybody, and you can have Sam Darnold to probably compete, and they just don't have. I mean, Nick Foles is playing really well right now, but not well, but okay. So we'll see about that. That's just an area he could go to. Broncos always an option. If they don't like what they see from Drew Lock, they have a chance of getting a guy that was drafted in the top 10 picks. So I think we're going to start adding some players to the trade block right now. So we're going to put Sam Darnold on the trade block and see what things. We're going to go to all our top players. Obviously, we're going to put Snacks Harrison on the trade block. I'm going to put Avery Williamson on the trade block as well. We're going to have a lot of players on the trade block. I'm going to be putting Jamison Crowder on the trade block. All our old guys that contenders need like a couple more pieces, we're going to try to put on the trade block just to get as many assets as we possibly can. And obviously, you already know we're going to start scouting guys, because we're probably going to have a top 3 pick. So the first thing we're obviously going to do is we're going to scout Justin Fields. We're going to scout Trevor Lawrence, and we're going to scout Trey Lance. The thing is, obviously, we want Trevor Lawrence to come on the New York Jets. The real issue is if we mistakenly win a game or two, and we have to pick out of Justin Fields or Trey Lance on who we want to get. There's some people that might say Justin Fields is just flat out better than Trey Lance, and there's going to be some players that say Trey Lance is better than Justin Fields. So we're just going to see how everything goes, but hopefully we can get the #1 overall pick. We don't have Adam Gates anymore, so that might be a little hard, but we're going to try to trade all of our old talent to try to get this team as worse as possible so we can get the #1 overall pick. The guys that we want to be focusing on is obviously McGlinchey, Denzel Mims, and we also want to make sure we have Quentin Williams. We want to make sure these guys are good. I just want to sim these. I don't really want to go crazy on these. Jordan Jenkins gets an upgrade. We're going to actually just make sure he is a good run stuffer. And to cap off this episode, I'm going to actually try to make a huge trade off the gate. So I think the trade I want to go to is target the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to offer them Sam Darnold for a chance of getting a 1st round pick. So I think if I offer Sam Darnold, and probably offer them a pick as well. So we're going to offer them our 5th round pick in next year's draft, and we're going to try to get their #1 pick. Let's see if we can get this offer here. They're not interested. They do not want to do this pick at all for that. So I'm going to go to the next team and see if we can try to get a first round pick. So I am now here with the New Orleans Saints, and I'm trying to offer Sam Darnold and a 5th round pick in next year's draft in order to get a first round pick in return. And we're actually pretty close to the New Orleans Saints, but I am going to try to go to another team and try to get a first round pick if we can. I am actually going to go to the Indianapolis Colts and try to see if we can trade Sam Darnold for the first pick. They're actually pretty interested, so I'm actually going to see if I can get a little bit more. Not anything crazy, so I want to see if I get a first round pick and a 7th round pick in next year's draft for Sam Darnold. So their team will be over the salary cap, so they actually have to unload some salary. So we'll take salary back. They have just enough, but in order to take that contract, we want another pick. So let's try to get like a 5th round pick in return for taking that guy on. Let's see if this will work. They're actually not interested as well, so they don't have the cap to get him. So we're gonna have to be a little bit more creative here. All right, so we actually are pretty close. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to give the Indianapolis Colts a pick. So we're gonna try to give them we're actually gonna try to give them a 5th round pick in 2022's draft, because we're pretty close to getting Sam Darnold off the team and getting a actual good pick in return. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try to get this trade, and I'm gonna offer a 4th round pick and then try to get another pick in return. So I'm trying to see if I can get like a 7th round pick. Let's see, the 7th round pick in 2022. That should probably get the deal done. And they're actually not going to get the deal done. Okay, so we're going to have to not do that. Oh, now it's close. So 4th round pick is not going to get it done. So it's going to actually cost a lot to get Sam Darnold off the team. I think this is going to be actually pretty good realistic deal. So here they're going to give us a 1st round pick. I'm going to try to give them a 3rd round pick in the 2022 draft and see if that's going to be good enough to get the deal done. And it's pretty close. So we can offer them a 3rd round pick in next year's draft, and I will probably give them a 6th round pick in this year's draft just to get Darnold's contract away, and that's still not enough. We're gonna have to find a way to get this deal done. So I thought I could probably get the 1st round pick if I wanted to for Sam Darnold if I did some more moves. But I just think realistically, we're probably not going to get a 1st round pick for him anyway. So if I can get this 2nd round and this 3rd round pick for Darnold, I think that would be a good return. And actually, we didn't get any of that. Okay, so we get a 2nd round pick, and I'm going to try to get a 2022 draft pick. So let's go 2022 6th round draft pick for Sam Darnold. And they're not interested as well. So we're probably just going to get a 2nd round pick for Darnold. Okay, so they don't even want a 2nd round pick. Okay, so we're gonna have to give up a pick as well. So we're actually pretty close to finally getting a deal done for Sam Darnold. Here I'm gonna try to get a 2nd round pick and a 7th round pick and just a contract just to probably release the guy just to make the trade work. And we're gonna offer them a 7th round pick in 2022. And that should be enough to get Sam Darnold off the team, and it's not. So this is probably all we're gonna be able to get, a 2nd round pick for Sam Darnold, which sucks. But that's what happens when you kill the guy's value. We barely can even get that. So we're going to have to trade Sam Darnold and actual a pick. So we're going to have to trade Sam Darnold and probably a 5th or 6th round pick to get a 2nd round pick back for him. And it's accepted. So to end this video, we have traded Sam Darnold to the Indianapolis Colts for a 2nd round pick and just a guy to offload the contract. So this is the start of episode 1, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. It's probably gonna be a pretty long video. I don't know when I edit this. Maybe it might be short, but this is the start of episode 1. This is a start up just to show you that we got Sam Darnold off the team. Just couldn't afford the contract that he wanted. It just wasn't gonna fit our timeline. So we shipped him off to Indianapolis. Philip Rivers is only going to be there for 1 year. The Colts may have their quarterback of the future. Frank Reich can work with him. He has an offensive line, some weapons. I think Sam Darnold is going to be good. I kind of wish we was able to trade him to the NFC because we didn't want to face him, but it's okay. It's the first thing we got out. We have a 2nd round pick that's going to be very valuable for us. We have to build in the draft. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It's your boy Tay, and I'm out.